raises the hair on your neck. It's the hometown pride for Gridiron Gladiators. This is indoor football. This is your Salina Liberty.
We have waited all week, but now it's Liberty time. It's the Coach Heron O'Neal Show, brought to you from AJ's Sports Bar and Grill in the alley by Standard Beverage and Brooks Liquor. You can watch the Coach O Show live at salinapost.com. Now ready to talk everything Liberty football, here's Devin, Hanney, and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Welcome into AJ's at the Alley. We're in downtown Salina, and it's the very first edition of the Coach Heron O'Neal Show. I am Devin Hanney here with the coach, the first ballot Hall of Famer, the head guy of the Salina Liberty, Coach Heron O'Neal. Everybody put your hands together for Coach as we get ready for this first Coach's Show. It's a Wednesday, I know. We're going to do it on Mondays from now on, but we couldn't wait to get this going, right, Coach? I mean,
absolutely.
First game is coming up, and it's coming in hot on Saturday. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. Want to thank our sponsors, of course, AJ's in the Alley. They also have trivia here every Wednesday, so you can come in, watch the Coach's Show, and play a little trivia along as well. We're going to play some trivia here with Coach O'Neal. We're going to start out real basic. We're going to look back. The last time you and I really sat down and did this was after the loss, not to bring up bad memories, but the loss in the championship game at home to Omaha. Had a block kicked. Omaha won that game. Your thought process and how long did you take before you started working on 2022?
It was pretty quick. I looked at the game. Once I got a chance to look at the film and kind of actually see what happened, because I didn't see it live happen, because milk the clock the way you're supposed to milk the clock, line up to kick the field goal. But then I went to the bench and was looking for the iPad to see what type of kickoff we were going to do. So not knowing, but you hear that dum-dum, and I'm like, oh, my God, that was terrible. But soon after, I would say probably a day or two after, I got after it, started recruiting, and did it a little bit different this year, looking for size requirements like I kind of did, brought it all the way back to what I did in Billings, and different positions demands a different size player for it. Instead of just taking the best athletes, and more specific this year is what we focus on with the recruitment. And also, you know, getting Coach Cavanaugh in to help us out with our offense is going to be huge for us, to work with our quarterbacks, and he's going to change the special teams. So to continue to do the same thing and expect a different result is a sign of insanity. So we had to do some things different to get a different result. So I started, that's a long answer, but yes,
yeah.
It was about a day or two.
It's a long answer with a lot of great teasers in there as well. There's a lot of things in there that we'll touch on and we'll expand on as well. A lot of people may not know this. Some people do know this. You kind of go back and forth, right? You're during the season here, you're here in Salina, and you're also still residing in Billings. So when you elect to go and spend the winter in Billings, what is on Coach O's plate during the winter in Billings, Montana? Go through that for us.
Well, it's a lot of time with my daughter, with my wife, doing the family thing, taking the trips and things of that nature, taking her to cheer practice, just hanging out with the family. I mean, that's what I do, because I miss, 4 to 5 months of that being here. So you got to make up for a lot of lost time. And I do appreciate my wife for letting me do this, because without her consent on this, I wouldn't be here. I'll probably be in Billings. Yeah. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's a lot of family time. But toward the evening time is when I get back to the football. That's when most guys are getting off work. So that's when you can call them and contact them to see if their interest level are and things of that nature. So it's basically during the day is family time, but then it's time to get football as the evening come, right around dinner time.
How many cell phone minutes are you racking up during this time?
Oh, it's a lot. It's crazy. I have no clue. I mean, they give me a phone here, so I'm pretty sure the bill is pretty high during those months.
Thank the Lord for unlimited plans, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about that as well. You and I touched on it a little bit during a pregame conversation we had last year during the season. And you're very fortunate to work for an ownership group that allows you to bounce back and forth. And they also go that extra mile. They bring the family in. They bring the wife in on multiple occasions to come see you. Sometimes it's a surprise. But she was here for a lot of games last year, and you made the decision to sign that contract extension. You were kind of at the last year of your contract, or maybe 1 year pending, and you signed that extension to commit to this franchise. So tell us why.
Well, it came down to the ownership group. They actually care about who I am as a person. And family is big with this ownership group. So they understand that, yeah, I need to see my wife. I need to see my kid. And they put that in my contract. And some of the things it's not even in the contract. They actually just do it out the goodness of their heart and understanding that I'm not abusing it or anything like that. But every man needs needs his wife, you know. So
Yeah.
to have her come up all those times that they did, I definitely forever agree. I can't say thank you enough when they do that. But the family atmosphere, the future plans of what we're trying to do with the Salina Liberty, the heavy lifting that was already put forth over these past years is I want to see it pay off. And I feel that we have the best organization in the league now. You know, Francis Flax does a great job running the business. I run the football, and our ownership group, they let us do that. And they care. That's the big thing with me. I mean, it was a lot of teams from, you know, leagues, I'll say, that wanted me to come and coach and do that with them. But it's so hard to basically turn my back on a group of people that showed me so much love. And it's genuine. It's not fake. Because, I mean, even in the off season, you know, I get calls from our owners and things of that nature. So it's a real thing that's going on here. And I'm loving the spirit of the city. We're hungry. They're hungry. It was a lot of good things. It was really no negatives to leave. I mean, when you leave, you have to have some negatives to say, I don't want to do this. They do this, that, and other. That's not to my liking. But that was never the case here. But then the communication that I have with them, the open line that I can talk to any owner at any point, anytime I want to, just pick up the phone and, you know, talk to them and get things, you know, taken care of. The communication I do have with Flax, I mean, that helps out in a decision that's, you know, very, very important. Because everybody I know, I talked to a lot of the fans here, once they seen Billings was coming in, they thought that's where I was going to go just because I lived there.
Yeah.
But I guess I threw that curveball out there early. So
It was a panic moment, let me tell you that. We saw it too, and we went, oh, gosh, here we go. So that's why I wanted to touch on that with you, because I know it was important, because indoor football, it's kind of a world of chaos, right? And there's not a lot of teams and not a lot of organizations that have that consistent base. You know, you walk in here today, I see Coach Martinez in here, I see D-Trey come in, Kelvin McCoy. I mean, here comes all these familiar faces, and there's your base along with that ownership group.
Absolutely, and they sit right there with them. They're regular people. Because I've seen owners who, I call them suits, where they wear the suits, they don't care nothing about you as a person or anything. Our owners are here doing the heavy lifting. Tom was here putting this thing together. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. It's a blue-collar ownership group. And that when you have things like that in place where they're not better than the thing that they own, and they help out the things they do on game day, to put all those banners up and put those dasher pads up. Like, I've never seen an ownership group ever do anything like that. So it's a hard-working ownership group, and they never really get the love. But the only way we can pay them back as a team is continue to win, continue to be a contender, and just bring that trophy home, the big one.
And the process started, as you said, when the game was over pretty much last year. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and this is 2 layers, how many guys did you have come into camp? Because I know you usually bring more than enough, because you want that selection, you want that competition, right? If you don't have competition in camp, you're not going to have a team that's going to be worth anything. So how many players did you have come into camp, and how was camp for you overall?
Well, it was a long camp with us having no preseason game or anything like that. But it was 35 players. That's the max you can bring in. And like you said, the competition is what I thrive off of. I love to see young, hungry players competing against our veterans. I mean, that's what you do it for. But you also, every veteran that we recruited from other teams, you have to have a plan for them as well. So once they kind of seen the plan of what we laid out there for them, this is what we're expecting of you. The competition was great, but the thing that I found out that these guys are together. I mean, Gibbs and all these guys, you know, they played against each other, but now they can actually play on one team. So we're gelling already, and it took us at least 2 to 3 weeks, you know, game 2 or 3 for us to gel last year. But these guys all knew each other before they got here, and then the rookies just fall right into place. They understand the leadership group in which we have with our captains and things of that nature, and a lot of competition, but I'm definitely happy that really only two major injuries that happened during camp with the 2 knees that we had with Dakota as well as Pelton Smalls. But other than that, pretty injury-free. We got a lot of things in, but these guys are ready to play somebody else, so I know that's what we're all waiting for Saturday.
Of course, that's coming up Saturday against the Topeka Tropics on the road. Coach O talked about rebuilding this roster, taking a different template than what he's had in the past. We'll talk about that when we come back. We will also see who the Final Four picks are for the NCAA tournament coming up. We'll get Coach O's thoughts on a little basketball when we come back as well. It's the Coach O Show. We are down at AJ's in the Alley. They have a monthly pizza special, and I think right now it's the nacho pizza, which is delicious, by the way. Come on down to AJ's in the Alley. Also, Brooks Liquor, a sponsor of the Coach O Show. At AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina, you're listening on KINA and also watching live stream video on SalinaPost.com.
ERP, or
Clear.
platelet plasma injection therapy,
Cool. All right.
has received quite a bit of attention since it's used by many professional athletes. Professional football players like Peyton Manning and Jamal Charles have used PRP therapy for sports injuries and to avoid surgery. But you don't have to be a world-class athlete with millions of dollars for this cutting-edge therapy. PRP is available to you in the Salina Pain Clinic. Call the doctors for a consultation and see if this treatment is right for you. See them at 200 South 5th in the Salina Surgical Arts Center. Warm weather is just around the corner, and we can feel it at Salina Wholesale Liquor. Now's the time to get quotes and place orders for those graduation parties, weddings, or spring break shenanigans. We always have great deals on case orders and 15% off for Wine Wednesday. Don't forget Craft Beer Thursday. Save big now at all 3 locations in Salina, at Sam's Club, off 9th Street behind Cadova, and on the corner of Iron and Ohio. We have better prices. We're close and quicker. Salina Wholesale Liquor.
Think about the word precision. Precision represents quality and the fact of being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electrical Contractors in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in Central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Don't rely on so-so electrical. Visit the team at Precision Electrical Contractors, online at pecsalina.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC clean and check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
The Salina Liberty play here.
Indoor football comes back to KINA starting this Saturday with the very first Salina Liberty football game. Hi everyone, it's Devin Hanney inviting you to join us for the hard-hitting action of Salina Liberty football. It starts a brand new season on Saturday as the Liberty travel to Topeka to take on the expansion Tropics. Pregame starts at 6:30 Saturday on KINA.
Liberty Indoor Football on Salina Sports Station, KINA.
Let's go!
K4 Trailer Truck and RV Accessories in Salina is celebrating 20 years, and they'll be hooking customers up to all kinds of trailers. Get out and see K4 at the Mid-America Farm Expo in Salina, March 23rd to 25th. K4 will be there with one of their new Iron Bull trailers, a new breed of trailer that you have to see. K4 will also have the Salem Toy Hauler to check out. Get out and see K4 Trailer, RV, and Truck Accessories at the Mid-America Farm Expo in Salina, and register to win a Flomax Power Washer they'll be giving away on the last day of the expo.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here at AJ's in the Alley, we're in downtown Salina. Devin Hanney back with Coach Heron O'Neal as we get ready for a Salina Liberty season. And we left off before the break, Coach. We were talking about just kind of roster building, and you caught my attention because you talked about using a slightly different template to build this roster for 22 than what you have in the past. Let's talk about that and tell me how that worked.
Well, basically looking for bigger offensive linemen. Not to say that the offensive line we had before was not good, because it was good enough. 54 points a game, number one in the league offensively. But just wanting to get bigger offensively at the receiver spot as well, and be a little bit more diverse on defense, bringing in different type of defensive backs. Like Autry is a guy that he can play every position back there, and he brings that nastiness. And, I mean, he's played here before where everybody's going to love him once you see him play. And then to get people, you know, like E-Ray, guys like that can play multiple positions. So I wanted to have more flexibility with my game plans instead of being this is all we can do because this is what we have. So I went after more versatile athletes in that secondary. We did get bigger, way bigger on the defensive line as well with the guys that we have put forth and got. So that's is what we're looking for, but could still have that athleticism that we've always had. But I just wanted bigger people so we can push around a little bit some other teams. And I just felt sometimes we played against teams and we were getting pushed around. So going against bigger guys, you got to go get bigger guys. So definitely happy with what we did as far as on our lines. You've always done a nice job of bringing in young guys with little to no experience and mixing them with veterans and some dogs of the game. And, you know, like a Dwayne Autry and a Dontre Matthews, what was your approach when you looked at that this year? I mean, I'm sure your brain's always moving. You have played somebody along the way and you've taken a mental note. If it ever comes up, I want that guy. Absolutely. How many of those guys were there that you brought in? Oh, I would say at least probably about 6 or 7 that actually made our roster. That it was crazy that once October 1st hit, they called me. And that's a thing that when I first got here, we were basically begging players to come and play. So the feeling was mutual. So they seen a winning product. And they gravitated toward us. And a lot had to do, I got to give a lot of credit to D-Trey. D-Trey attracts a lot of, you know, good football players that know how to play this game. And he was huge in the recruiting this year. These are basically his guys that he handpicked. I mean, it's kind of like when you have a special player like D-Trey, you treat it like Tom Brady. Tom Brady brought his own people in there that he wanted. Yeah. And he's got that, you know, at least defensively that I want this guy, and I want this guy. And it worked out pretty that simple. I mean, on the 1st of October, the first day of free agency, like I said, 6, 7, 8 calls that they called me. It was they wanted to play. They ready to go. Send me the contract. I didn't have to sell it or anything like that. They were ready to go, and they come in. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the 30 for 30, but it was when Kobe lost to the Boston Celtics. Ron Artest came into that locker room and said, I can team up with you next year and we'll get Boston. And that's kind of what happened with this team. That's amazing. And when you have that, it's not a bad problem, of course. Oh, most definitely. But again, you know, NFL free agency is going on right now, and there's a ton of top guys that are unsigned. And running backs aren't moving anywhere right now. So when you look at the NFL, you keep hearing the term of, well, he will probably sign here because he wants a ring. The possibility always lingering of winning a championship in Salina, knowing how close this franchise has been, that's also a pretty attractive spot, isn't it? Absolutely, and I think that was the driving force for every veteran that we signed free agent-wise. Like they said, you can't win a championship unless you win a championship game, and you guys have been there twice, and I think I can be that missing piece to bring you over the top. I heard that at least from 6 or 7 of the veterans guys that we signed. Their unique skill level of what they do and what they bring to the table, their knowledge of indoor football, already knowing how to play the game. They just got to get into our playbook and understand how we do things here. That was huge to get those type players that some of them have already won championships before. So to bring that championship pedigree in is huge. So you have the roster set. Everything's working up now until week 1, first game on the road. You're playing a new franchise, but you don't have that preseason exhibition type game where, you know, we've always called it a dress rehearsal in the past. The lights are on, you got to put the helmet on, the pads. You don't have that. You're also away from the friendly confines of Tony's Pizza Event Center. You're going on the road to play a team that we really don't know a lot about. How do you approach that for the game on Saturday? Well, basically just draw back from my experience of, I mean, this is my 17th year, so understanding and knowing how to, you know, prepare your team a little bit different when you don't have that preseason game. So you have basically 2 or 3 mini scrimmages. You don't tell the players that it's a scrimmage because they'll go out there and kill each other, but you're evaluating it that the tempo is going to be a little bit higher today, and we're judging it. So we film our practices so we can see who's ready for it, who's not. So we've had 2 or 3 dress rehearsals already. So We're not going to use it as an excuse. We kind of use it as a rallying cry, like, here we go again with the schedule makers, didn't do us any favors or anything like that, and this is what we have to do to be prepared and ready to go against Topeka.
How much do you avoid and talk to the guys about not looking around the corner at this expansion team in Topeka? Because week number 2 is a big one, right? I know you're one game at a time type of guy, but that week number 2 game here at the home opener, it's a big one.
Yeah, and it's human nature for those guys to think about that. I would be naive to think that they're focused 100% on Topeka. They're going to think about that. Our job as the coaches, though, is to make sure we have a game plan that's ready to go for Topeka, make sure that they execute it at a high level, and we'll worry about whoever's next. But right now, all we're focused on as coaches is Topeka. We know that, it's not going to be an easy game. It's their home opener. They're going to be ready to go. They've done some roster changes. They just let go of the starting quarterback, so that was the only quarterback that was on the roster. So now Coach and I got to figure out what's going on up there and try to get a game plan that's conducive to try to win. But if you looked at that first half of that game against Sioux City, I think it was like 18-7 or something like that. They were in that game. They were playing well. Their defense is what stuck out to me, that they are ready to go. And the coach down there, he is a former D coordinator of the Kansas City team, so he's going to have those guys ready to go. They're going to be motivated. The most improvement is week 1 to 2, so I'm looking for them to be much improved and ready to go, and we got to be ready to face that.
Of course, this is our cue to talk about getting tickets for week number 2. It's the home opener, March 26th at home against the Omaha Beef. I know the ownership group has a lot of great things planned for the home opener, so you can get your tickets now at Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com, or you can just go over to the box office. They'll be open all weekend long there with other events. Go get your tickets for the home opener. We also want to see fans in Topeka on Saturday as well. It's the arena formerly known as the Expo Center. It's the Stormont Vale Event Center. So that is in Topeka. That's where the first game's going to go. Okay, let's shift gears here a little bit. We're going to get away from football for a while. I'm going to give you a break there. The big dance starts tomorrow, right? The NCAA tournament. We got the play-in games going on here at AJ's in the Alley right now. Skip all through all that. Let's just go to the Final Four. Who is Coach Heron O'Neal's picks for the Final Four?
This is the first year, I was talking to Coach Martinez about it, that I have not filled out a bracket. So I'm not exactly sure who's in. I have 4 teams that I think is going to win it, but I don't know if they're all in the same bracket. I like Kentucky. I like Duke, I like Gonzaga, and I like UCLA as my sleeper team.
UCLA had a couple of guys come back to win this championship. That might carry him over. So interesting there, and happy St. Patrick's Day Eve, by the way, as we're sitting here on March 16th. So you have a great nucleus of guys that you brought back to the team. You got the MVP in Tracy Brooks. He's back. People call him a running back. I think he's all over the place. He plays receiver as well as he does running back. You have the center of the offensive line back in Kelvin McCoy. You have the offensive player of the year back in Tyree Adams at quarterback. We always talk about centers of the offense and defense and what goes on up the middle. Who are some guys and some names that we might hear a lot about right out of the gate on your offense?
Well, Trey Griffin, he's a running back that he's backing up Tracy right now, a young kid, played at Hutch Junior College, a Wichita kid. He's been very impressive in camp, making a lot of plays all over the place at receiver as well as at running back. Definitely love what he's doing there. Casey Pierce is another guy, offensive lineman, 6'4", 330-pound guy that, really athletic, really strong. I think, as far as a rookie, those two right there are going to make some noise. And then we have a couple rookie receivers as well. We have Isaiah Scott. He played at, I think it's West Virginia State. He's a big kid. He's 6'3", about 230. And he's running sub-4.5s, high 4.4s. So to have him, and then we have Love, Anthony Love from Oklahoma State. He's a rookie. He's 6'4", about 210 or so in that range. So those are the rookies on offense that I think are going to stand out and make you'll recognize them because they're going to be making a lot of plays for us offensively.
And as I talk about the middle of that offense and the guys up the middle between the hash marks, Didn't mention Fast Ed. He's back, maybe one of the best receivers statistically in the league last year, so you always have him to lean on as well as offense. Getting a big receiver, just hearing you talk about some of those guys, was that an objective also? Because I know that we've always had kind of the small, fast guys that have done a really good job being burners down the field, but just kind of missing that big target when you get down inside that 5-yard line, you're pressing that red zone, and sometimes your playbook is closed up a little bit because you don't have that guy.
Exactly. This kind of goes back to my first point as far as the recruiting. We went after certain body types for different positions. We do have, smaller receivers, like we do have Jarrell. We do have Junior, Theron Allen, that are smaller, quicker receivers. So I think we did a great job of having a good mesh of height, speed, as well as big and powerful guys. So just excited to see, Coach Martinez is going to have his hands full with, being my new offensive coordinator. So he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do with all that talent on offense. No pressure there, Coach. No pressure.
And we will talk more about the coaching staff and things like that as we go along. We want to have just a note to you. This is the only Wednesday night we're going to do the Coach O show. We're going to switch to Mondays and fall more in line for a football season. So we'll have a game, most of them on Saturday. We do have a Sunday game in there, but we will have the Coach O show on Mondays and then get everybody prepped for the rest of the week. So we will turn around and do this again on Monday. And also, I want to tell you that the Salina Liberty team, is offering up 4 season tickets. It's a 4-pack of season tickets that we will give away here on Monday at AJ's in the Alley for the show. So people definitely want to come out for that. You got to be in person to win that. I'm going to let you off the hook. I'm going to let you relax, maybe grab something to drink here at AJ's in the Alley. We want to remind people, Coors Light from Crown Distributors, also Modelo, a great partner. They are from Standard Beverage. You can get those here at AJ's in the Alley and also at our friends down at Brooks Liquor here in Salina. Good catching up with you. I will talk to you more on Saturday. Our pregame starts for the Topeka Tropics game at 6:30 here on KINA. Coming up next, we'll talk to the Special Teams Player of the Year. It's Jimmy Allen as the Coach O Show continues on here at AJ's in the Alley as we go through and talk Salina Liberty football.
Our automotive and diesel mechanics will fix it right the first time. Commercial Tire Centers, West Crawford and North 9th in Salina.
Commercial Tire Centers, where service is everything.
It's the clash of the helmets. The roar of the crowd raises the hair on your neck. It's the hometown pride for Gridiron Gladiators. This is indoor football. This is your Salina Liberty. Get your tickets now at Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com and become the 9th player on the field as the Liberty take on the Omaha Beef in a rematch of last season's championship game. March 26th at Tony's Pizza Event Center. Kickoff is 6:35, so be there, be loud, and be ready for Salina Liberty football.
Salina Regional's Orthopedic and Sports Medicine is your home field advantage. Our physicians include sports medicine physician Dr. Matthew Pyle, along with orthopedic surgeons Drs. Travis Rump and Todd Riley, plus an A-team of certified athletic trainers and physical therapists. We're ready when you need us to help prevent injuries, enhance performance, or to heal through surgery and rehabilitation. For area athletes to weekend warriors, the home field advantage starts at Salina Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine.
Warm weather is just around the corner, and we can feel it at Salina Wholesale Liquor. Now's the time to get quotes and place orders for those graduation parties, weddings, or spring break shenanigans. We always have great deals on case orders and 15% off for Wine Wednesday. Don't forget Craft Beer Thursday. Save big now at all 3 locations in Salina, at Sam's Club, off 9th Street behind Cadova, and on the corner of Iron and Ohio. We have better prices. We're close and quicker. Salina Wholesale Liquor.
When you hire street plumbing, heating, and electric in Salina and Lincoln, you'll be making a great decision. Providing full-service plumbing and HVAC, they have the knowledge and skills to get the job done right the first time. They work with you throughout the project to ensure you get the personalized service you deserve from licensed and insured technicians. Excellent customer service in Central Kansas since 1985. The experienced team will clean the premises once the job is done. Street Plumbing, Heating, and Electric. Know them better at streetphe.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC cleaning check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Welcome back to AJ's in the Alley. I am Devin Hanney, and our player feature segment is brought to you by AJ's in the Alley. We're going to be here now every Monday after tonight. We couldn't wait to get going for the season as everything gets ramped up on Saturday as the Salina Liberty open the 2022 season with a trip to Topeka to take on the Tropics. And the Special Teams Player of the Year, Jimmy Allen here. Are you vice president now of the Martin Truex fan club and also waving the banner for Big Blue as we go into the NCAA tournament?
Does that make you president then?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take it.
I'm getting there. I mean, I got to text you every Sunday. We talk about it and keep getting disappointed. Now, once Liberty football gets ramped up, we start winning Saturdays. Sundays will be a little bit easier on me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your off season a little bit. I know you do a lot, not only with coaching but also with youth. Some people might be surprised at this, but what I've learned about you in the past is indoor football, we all call you the kicker or a kicker. You're really a punter at heart, right? Your roots are from punting. Tell me about that.
Well, growing up high school, I was a higher rated punter than I was kicker, so got to college, was starting punter, like third string kicker. And then after college, I tried to get into Canada, and they want you to do both, so you start to work on both. Well, that didn't work out, so I got to arena football.
Okay.
Well, I can't punt here, so I had to learn, or I lost my job. So
we've always joked that different people around the group are the designated punter each week. So I think I had my share because we know there's no chance of getting on the field. So that's probably a good thing. So you're off season working with youth and coaching and things like that in Michigan. But what did you do on this past off season up back home?
So I coach at my old high school over in Fenton, Michigan. I coach at a Division III college, at Alma College back home. So between those two schools and just trying to spend time with family as much as I can while I'm home, it's fairly busy.
Yeah. You ever drive by a field and see somebody out there kicking by themselves and you just want to stop the car and get out and go talk to them and help them out a little bit?
Typically, I send them out there. If it's anybody in my area, I'm the one telling them to go get some practice. But yeah, it's whenever you see a kicker, you always want to talk to them. Especially, it's a small area, so you always want to, hey, where are you at? How can I help? Come work with me. I'll be out here working this weekend. Just show up. I'll help you out as much as I can.
So tell me about your preparation for the season, because you're in a little bit unique situation. Anybody can kind of go out and get on some turf and maybe do some things, but you are working with a crossbar that the only place you're going to see it most of the time is inside the Tony's Pizza Event Center or whatever arena you're going to on the road. You can stop at a high school field or even over at Kansas Wesleyan, but that's not the crossbars you're going to play on. They're much narrower. Where do you get your work in at?
So back home, we've got a dome, and they've got tape up on the actual siding of the dome. So I think those are 8 feet wide, so that gives me a little work. And then once I get out here, if I'm not in the arena, you just got to find any outdoor upright and split it into thirds. So the high school uprights are 24 feet, I believe. So you split that into thirds, you're looking at 8. So it gives you a little wiggle room, but it's really the best you can do until we can get in the arena, and then I get to see what I'm working with and go from there.
So in practice and in camp, you're doing a lot of kind of walking around, observing. What do you think about this year's team? What's your first impression of this team of the Salina Liberty?
I know I said this last year, but even more so than last year, there's a different vibe. There's a different thought process amongst the players, new and old. Seeing how close we came last year, even closer than we did when we were in Albuquerque. I mean, it's got to happen now, and I think that's the thought process behind the players and coaching staff and even the ownership. And I think we're all on the same page, and this has got to be it.
What was the thought process for you? Do you know you were coming back? Was it something that you and Coach O'Neal had to talk about? Was it an ownership conversation with you? How did you make the decision to come back? Because not only did you come back to the Salina Liberty, and be on the football team, but you also now reside here, right?
Yep. So I took a job with one of our sponsors and owners. So I live here full time now. But there was never thought in my mind about whether or not I was going to come back or even not play football or go somewhere else. As close as we've been the last 2 years, and the friendships I've built with this team, as close as I am with Coach O, I don't want to play for another coach. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna play here until I don't play anymore, and that'll be it.
Okay, going to Topeka on Saturday. We've talked about that. Enough football there. Let's do a couple of questions here for Jimmy Allen. Let's get in the mind of Jimmy Allen. First and foremost, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, should Michigan be in the field of 64?
They should be in. Of course they should be in.
Why?
Playing the best conference in college basketball. I don't care if you finish 10th. It's the best conference.
So you're not going for all this bubble talk and maybe they should not have been in?
Hey, they're in. They're in.
What's your thoughts on Indiana? They've got a play-in game last night. Do they have a run in them now after winning that play-in game?
They're in the Big Ten. If you struggle in the Big Ten, you can go to any other conference in the nation and finish in the top half.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite track to watch a NASCAR race at? On TV or live, it doesn't matter.
Well, it'd have to be one I haven't been to yet. I want to go to Bristol.
Okay.
I want to see a Bristol night race. But beyond that, Michigan. It's got the best atmosphere to watch any race.
Did you ever go to Chicago?
I've never been to Chicago.
Because they lost their race, and I thought that would be a good one.
I drive by it on the way to Kansas, and every time I drive by, I'm looking over my shoulder trying to see if I can get a glimpse of it, right?
Yeah.
But no, I've never been to Chicagoland.
Okay, next question. How many tackles does Jimmy Allen have this year? You turned into a little bit of a machine last year. I mean, we were impressed.
I talked to Coach O about this yesterday. I said, Coach, I'm done with that. I said, we're doing something on kickoff, so I don't have to run into that problem anymore. What are we setting the over-under at, 5?
I had you at least at 9.5.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a bet on that, and then I'm going to push the under.
All right. Under. I'll go over.
All right.
Hopefully it doesn't work out. Hopefully the coverage team is better than that, right?
Yeah.
So
if we're over 9, that's an issue.
Okay. All right. I know that you cannot always control the situation that you're in when it comes to field goals, right? Because indoor football, long field goals are a glorified punt. You're looking for best field position and best turnaround if you can't get points.
Right.
What is your goal as far as percentage on extra points, point after touchdowns?
I'd stay at 90. I think I was 87, 88 last year, and I felt like I had a really good year, but obviously if I can do that, all the work in the offseason I've done should just improve my numbers, right?
Okay, I like that one as well. A lot of people don't realize, you and I have talked about it quite a bit on strategy. Kickoffs, in the air, on the ground, towards the sideline, towards the wall. What is your strategy? Is it a game film type thing? Do you look at the receiving team that you're kicking to? Do you look at who's on the front line? Talk about strategy and how you make those decisions.
We watch film and you go into the game having a thought process on, hey, this is what I saw, this is what we're going to do. But it never fails. As soon as you get in the game and you set the ball down, they've shifted completely. Yeah. All your lanes are now closed. So, I know I have a thought process, but it's all out the window as soon as I see something different.
Okay. All right. Well, you admit that. Best of luck this season. I'm sure we're going to be talking to you a ton along the way. Of course, next week we will be at home, Omaha Beef.
Yes, sir.
I know there's a bad memory there for you, and it's the kick heard around the world, right? Like Coach Heron O'Neal said, he didn't see it, but he heard it and he knew exactly what it was. We always know there's more aspects to kicking than just the kicker, but how much has that burnt in you in the offseason?
I've watched it probably the past month, at least once a day, maybe twice, honestly. And I just put it back on Twitter. I'm like, hey, this is the fire. This is what we need. Not only me to watch it, but everybody else.
Yeah.
We're one play away. It should never come down to one play, but unfortunately it did, and it didn't go our way. So hopefully we can get over that hump this year.
Looking forward to another great season. Thank you for your time. We'll be talking to you along the way.
Appreciate it.
Jimmy Allen, he is the kicker and the reigning Special Teams Player of the Year in Champions Indoor Football. Of course, they will be on the road at Topeka to play the Tropics on Saturday right here on KINA. When we come back on the Coach O Show, we will have an owner feature. We'll sit down with Dan Minden and we'll talk about some of the exciting things that you have 10 days to plan for as the Salina Liberty come home for the home opener against the Omaha Beef. That's coming up on March 26th. Back with more at AJ's in the Alley. We're in downtown Salina here on KINA and SalinaPost.com.
For platelet-rich received quite a bit of attention since it's used by many professional athletes. Professional football players like Peyton Manning and Jamal Charles have used PRP therapy for sports injuries and to avoid surgery. But you don't have to be a world-class athlete with millions of dollars for this cutting-edge therapy. PRP is available to you in the Salina Pain Clinic. Call the doctors for a consultation and see if this treatment is right for you. See them at 200 South 5th in the Salina Surgical Arts Center.
Springtime is here and we're on the go. Visit Commercial Tire Center and get ready to roll. We're driving more and more and getting ready for springtime activities. From the smallest lawnmower tires to passenger tires, farm tires, and the largest truck tires. Call Commercial Tire for repairs that aren't tire related. Our automotive and diesel mechanics will fix it right the first time. Commercial Tire Centers, West Crawford and North 9th in Salina.
Commercial Tire Centers, where service is everything.
Warm weather is just around the corner, and we can feel it at Salina Wholesale Liquor. Now's the time to get quotes and place orders for those graduation parties, weddings, or spring break shenanigans. We always have great deals on case orders and 15% off for Wine Wednesday. And don't forget Craft Beer Thursday. Save big now at all 3 locations in Salina, at Sam's Club, off 9th Street behind Cadova, and on the corner of Iron and Ohio. We have better prices. We're close and quicker. Salina Wholesale Liquor.
Think about the word precision. Precision represents quality and the fact of being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electrical Contractors in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in Central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Don't rely on so-so electrical. Visit the team at Precision Electrical Contractors. Online at pecsalina.com.
The all-new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Through the double dog leg along the front stretch, side by side, William Byron with Brad Keselowski.
It's the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500.
Kyle with a lot of momentum. Here they go, midway down the back straightaway. It's about 2.5 car lengths, the difference between the Bush brothers. Blaney will tuck right in behind the leader. He'll look for his opportunity.
The Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. Sunday, March 20th at 1 p.m.
It's the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 Sunday at 1 o'clock here on 910 a.m. 107.5 FM KINA.
Oh my, what a fresh smell, and this entire place is so clean.
You would never guess our friend here is talking about a porta potty. Not just any porta potty. This is a portable bathroom from Salina Septic Service. Salina Septic Service is changing the game with higher standards of cleanliness and service. Porta potties don't have to be gross, so don't accept any less when you can have the best from Salina Septic Service. Now serving Hutch, McPherson, and the Gray Bend areas. And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here on the Coach O Show, we are in downtown Salina at AJ's in the Alley. Of course, a lot of specials coming up. They have Cosmic Bowling on weekends and also the big tournament, NCAA basketball, coming up where they have TVs all over the place here at AJ's in the Alley. We're watching a couple play-in games and also some throwback stuff going on right now. It is your hub here in downtown Salina, AJ's in the Alley in downtown. Time now for our owner feature, and I've selected my good buddy Dan Minden in. You kind of started this feature. This is one of your brainchilds where you guys were doing a coach's show, and I said, let's do this a little bit bigger. Get it on the air, get it on Salina Post, live stream video. So you and I are going to tackle this as the season goes on. But what do you think about this host spot here? AJ's in the Alley. This is great, isn't it?
Fantastic, and I kind of got suckered into that. Nobody else would do it, so we just kind of grabbed the phone and started doing Facebook Live. But yeah, this is fantastic, Devin. I mean, very professional, and down here at Downtown Alley where the activity in the downtown area is really starting to blossom. This is where we want to be, right? And nothing better than to talk Salina Liberty football on a Monday or Wednesday, whatever night it is.
You look back 5 years ago, this corner was pretty much abandoned and desolate, and now things popping up in downtown Salina. There's no reason to not plan a trip to Salina, to come take in an indoor football game with the Salina Liberty, stay downtown, and all the restaurants and everything down here. There's a lot of stuff to do.
You know, a good friend of mine, Larry Brittigam, we talked about it when they had the dream 10, 15 years ago about really getting the city to blossom again. And, you know, we were talking about the other day, and I was a big Bombers fan. I was a sponsor at the, Phillips Lighting, and I loved the indoor game. And when I heard they were in a little bit of trouble, you know, Tom Perez and I started talking, you know, the whole history. But Larry Brittigam says it well. Professional football in Salina is a piece of the puzzle. You know, all the activity that's going on downtown and all the new housing developments, Salina professional football is important to the city of Salina, and that's why, you know, this ownership group is so committed. not only to be here, but we want to be a championship caliber franchise. So.
I should have looked up the number of years. It just hit me as you were talking about the Bombers. March 16th was the date of their very first game when they played the Wichita Wild here at, back then it was the Bicentennial Center, now Tony's Pizza Event Center. And it's just something that, again, it didn't work out for the previous ownership. It got down, and you guys came in, and there's been different people involved at different times, but you are one of the people that would not let this thing fail. And it was kind of a heck or high water situation where you're saying we're going to have this team, and now it's come so long ways. And it's the people around you in the ownership group, and we heard Coach O'Neal talk about it too. It's the base, and it's a family-like atmosphere where no matter what's going on, it could be hanging a backdrop, it could be putting a helmet on a table. Man, people are here and they're ready to help.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people instrumental in the Salina Liberty history, and it's taken all of us to get to this point. But, I really feel like the ownership group that we have now, not only are they fully committed, but we work really well together, and that's really, really important. Whether it's football or whether it's a dentist office or whether this group of ownership group, we're fully committed to do not only to make it go, but we want a championship caliber. And these players that come in, they're more than just players to us. They become our adopted sons in the season, and we all love football. Not only are they good athletes on the football field, but they're good young men, and we just love being around them.
Yeah, the culture around this team is unbelievable, and I know that starts with you guys, and that's something that's just awesome to be a part of. When you look at things going on, and I know right now the gears are flying, and there's a lot of different things going on as far as the Salina Liberty, but we talked to Coach O'Neal about not having that early exhibition game, the preseason type game that we've had in the past. We're going to go on the road Saturday, and we're going to open it up under the flames of a team that's already seen their first game. They are an expansion team, but Topeka played last week in Sioux City. They took a loss. Now they have a chance to not only make some roster adjustments, but they have a chance to adjust some things as far as X's and O's too. What are your thoughts about going to Topeka on Saturday?
Well, most teams make big improvements between game one and game two because you have a chance to see your product on the field, as you mentioned. Whether it's good results or whether it's results you need to improve on, you have a big chance to make those improvements, and they're going to get a lot better this Saturday. I guarantee it, Topeka will be. Yeah. We better be ready to play. I can tell you though, with having Coach Heron O'Neal here and Jorge Martinez, this team, every year it seems we get to be a little bit more athletic, but the caliber of men that come in here too, they're tremendous leadership core here. So, we brought, and Coach O talked about it, we brought some nasty dogs in on defense. Yeah. We're bigger, we're more physical, bringing Dwayne Autry back in, or, Shaq. Watch out for Shaq on the defensive line this year. I'm going to tell you what right now. Shaq is going to be, as impressive as he was last year, he's taken a big step up, Devin, just from last year, and I can't wait to see him on the field. We have a lot of newcomers in that are really athletic and talented as well, and I'm telling you, the offensive line, that's what I watch the closest. This offensive line, watch them because with the two running backs we have, they're going to open up some big holes, and they're going to give Tyree time to chance to throw the ball. So I'm really excited about this team this year.
I cannot wait to watch them play, and of course that will start out in Topeka at Stormont Vale Event Center. It's a short drive. It's less than 2 hours between here and Topeka. So you go down I-70, you support the Salina Liberty on the road, but what we really want you to get in gear for is the home opener. It's not just a home opener. Last time we had a home game, it was the same team across the line from us. It's the Omaha Beef, and I think most people know that story in the championship game. What do you guys have planned for the home opener coming up on March 26th here at Tony's Pizza Event Center?
Yeah, Omaha is, one of the longest running indoor professional teams in any league, I think. They have a great ownership group. They have great coaching staff. They always bring in top caliber players. You always have to be ready to play. We have a lot of activities planned. I mean, we have some really great sponsors this year. Every game is fully sponsored this year. We're up 26% over sponsorship last year, and we've been doing about 15 to 20% year over year. Yeah. So this city has really embraced the Salina Liberty team. I can tell you we have a lot of fun activities planned. There's going to be a lot of new games that we're going to do for the kids, but most importantly, we want to fill that arena up for these young men. We want them, when they come out of the tunnel, we want them to see a full stadium. And, there's still time to buy season tickets at the Tony Pizza Event Center. We're pretty much all the VIP passes and packages are almost sold out. So, we're really excited about that. But you have a chance to really come and support. I'm telling you, this team is going to be a championship caliber team. We fully expect to be back in the championship game, and we fully expect it to be at Tony Pizza's Event Center at the end of the season.
Coach O and I talked a little bit about NFL free agency and just kind of all the chaos right now flying around. They had a former Green Bay Packer on the air on a station I was listening to earlier, and he said the culture in Green Bay isn't to make the playoffs or win the division. The culture in Green Bay is when you walk out of that tunnel, you're going to win a Super Bowl. And that rang true with me because I was like, man, that's the Liberty culture, isn't it?
Absolutely. Devin, when we start camp, we talk about if you're not here to win a championship, then you need to go play for another team. And that's with the ownership group, that's with our front office, that's with our coaching staff, and we expect the players to have that same mentality. So, we were disappointed last year. I mean, it took me 3 weeks to, where I could talk football again because we take it serious. But we were happy with the season from the standpoint we got to the championship now 2 years in a row, and we've got down to almost the last play of the last two championships. So, we're fully committed to take that next step this year and to bring that championship home to Salina.
So, Dan, they say that when something like that happens, a lot of people say you have to have a short memory, you have to move on, right? Because you have to look out the windshield and not through the rearview mirror. But you also kind of have to have that long memory because you guys appreciate where you came from because the first 2 years, that was a challenge, wasn't it?
No, Devin, I mean, you're right. I think we won one game in the first year and maybe two the second year. And, the wins were hard to come by. But, we knew we would get to this point. We made the commitment that we weren't a 1 or 2 year franchise. We knew we were going to take our lumps early on. We had to get better at being owners, coaches, front office, general manager. We had to get better at bringing in better caliber players. So it's been an evolution to get to this point. But we know what it takes now, Devin. I mean, we honestly, the front office and the ownership group, we work harder in the off season to get ready to this point. And Francis Flax, our general manager, and Coach Heron O'Neal, George Martinez, my son Dylan. I mean, they are recruiting players almost 2 weeks after the season ends, and it's a long process to get to this point. But we feel really good where we're at. We think we're better than where we were at last year, and as long as we get better year over year, that's what it's all about. Eventually, we're going to win a championship, and I think multiple championships.
You guys have a new name and a new face, but he's not new to indoor football, and that's Carlos Kavanaugh. Talk about the addition that he brought in and what his responsibilities are.
I'm really impressed with Coach Kavanaugh. It's obvious his football IQ. I think the way he meshes with Coach Heron O'Neal and Jorge Martinez, and he brings a different element. It's a different intensity at practice, and I think you're going to see a major difference in the adjustments that we make. And they're in Heron's ear all the time, but ultimately it comes down to having the best coach in indoor football, and that's Heron O'Neal.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can't wait for that home opener. We go to Topeka, of course. The Liberty will play on Saturday. We'll have that for you here on KINA. That will start with a pregame at 6:30. We always talk to Coach O'Neal. Yep. We always have a kind of a look in on the opposition on what's going on. And then, of course, from Topeka, kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. Then we turn around and we want to flood Tony's Pizza Event Center. Of course, tickets available now, Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com. Equifest is in town this weekend, so that means their ticket office will be open. Yep. You can go get your Liberty tickets there as well. And you can also select your seat. And as you said, I know I said earlier that the ownership group was kind enough to give me a 4-pack of season tickets where somebody next week will win that 4-pack here on Monday in the Coaches Show. But go through pricing for season tickets. They are just crazy cheap. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
No, I'm pleading to our fan base. Get here next Monday. Get here about 5:30 and order you some food and be ready. And I think you're going to see something special this year. You have a chance. Season tickets are still available. Tailgate. Go there early. Yeah. And hopefully this is a great time of year. We're kind of getting out of the winter into spring. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. But have a nice tailgate. Get all your friends, your family. If you want to see good football, be ready next Saturday here for Tony Pizza Event Center. You're going to see a good football game.
I know you're on the road a lot. You travel a lot for a business and what you do for a living. How many practices and how much a camp were you able to see in person?
Devin, it was disappointing. I only made it to 2 practices this year, and I usually try to adjust my schedule, but kind of coming out of COVID, the dynamics of the supply chain right now with operations, I've been traveling a lot. And then, unfortunately, my father passed away last Sunday, so I had to fly out to Vegas last week and be at his side. So I'm dedicating this season to my father, who never missed a game, Salina Liberty. He always watched it on either was streaming or whether it was, I can't remember the app that we used, Pluto, that we watched it on.
Yeah.
Never missed a game, and he was looking forward to the season. So there's a little bit more fire in my blood this year. So, the commitment is for me to dedicate this season to my father for a championship.
That's very nice. What are you most excited about with this team when you look at things? Like I told Coach O, we kind of know the pieces that are coming back, the base and the foundation of this team. Give me a couple of guys that out of the corner of your eye you're thinking, this guy's going to be an impact player.
Well, I think the little running back we got out of Hutchinson, he reminds me of a Dominique Carson in the early days. I mean, he has that much of a burst and speed, and he's dynamic. Whether he's running the ball out of the backfield or catching the ball, you're going to see that. I think our wide receiver core this year, we're bigger, we're more physical, but don't forget about Fast Ed. He looks really good this year. And he had some, injuries last year. But I'm telling you, Devin, this defense that they've put together were more physical. You're going to see from the standpoint of speed. Our defensive backfield this year with Dwayne Autry coming back to Salina. And I gotta really preach about the offensive line. I think this offensive line, as good as we've been in the past, I think this offensive line is special this year.
We talked about with Topeka, the kind of transition between game 1 and game 2. That often happens too in seasons, right?
Yeah.
Tyree Adams got his feet wet in indoor football last year, suffered the unfortunate injury, came back at the end of the year. How much better is Tyree early on in the season?
I'm going to tell you, up until that point when he got injured, there wasn't anybody that could stop Tyree. And we knew when he even tried coming back, there was still something wrong. So he is healthy. He's ready to go. You're going to see the Tyree Adams we saw in the first half of the season, and he's taken that next step as far as maturity goes. In practice, you can see that he's making his reads. He's not forcing anything anymore. He's more comfortable in the pocket. I feel sorry for the defenses to play against Tyree Adams. I'm telling you.
Just got a couple of minutes here, Dan. Just go over your perspective, because you guys always have your thumbprint on what's going on league-wide. Yeah. And I know there's been a lot of movement around. There's a new team in Rapid City. Yep. There's a new team in Billings, Montana, a new team in Topeka. We lost a team in Wichita. What's the climate of the league right now?
I think the climate's really good, Devin. Coming out of COVID to actually gain, teams in our league. And there's a lot of activity already behind the scenes in a lot of those cities that lost teams. So I honestly think the league is going to grow in 2023. And I think eventually we're going to get back to where we're going to have different divisions, because I think we're looking at 10-plus teams in the next 2 to 3 years.
So the format is still the same, right? For fans that are looking at the format, it is the top 4 go to the playoffs, and then you have a semifinal and a championship game. Is that right?
That's correct. Okay. And I think in the next couple of years we're going to have to probably go to back to the original format with the different divisions, because I think we're going to see an explosion of teams in the next 2 to 3 years. I really do.
What is your impact that you think is going to be made, or your thoughts on the impact? Because we see football leagues popping up all over the place, right? We have the USFL that's starting in April. We have the XFL that's going to start next season. Do you think that hurts or helps a league like Champions Indoor Football?
I think it helps. One of the things that Heron O'Neal has done is he's taking more players to the next level, and we pride ourselves on that. We want players to have a chance to go to the next level, whether it's the CFL, the UFL, the new USFL. I mean, whatever league it is, as long as they're progressing up, we feel good about that, because we're giving young men a chance to get to the next level. And he's got more players in the NFL than any other coach. So for us, the more the competition, I think the better it is, because I don't know if Heron mentioned it. It was kind of hard to hear, but when free agency opens up, we have players wanting to come to Salina.
Yeah.
So they explore other opportunities. If it doesn't work out, they want to come to a franchise like Salina, Kansas. And so I think it helps us.
It's awesome. I can't wait to get the season going. I appreciate your time, and of course, you'll be sitting in this seat a little bit this year. You and I will tag team 16 shows,
You do a better job. You do a better job, Devin, I can tell you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. We will see you in Topeka on
Appreciate
Saturday.
It. Go Liberty. Come support this team.
Absolutely. Dan Minden, he is part of the ownership here for the Salina Liberty as we come to you from AJ's in the Alley. Our next show will be coming your way at 6 p.m. on Monday, and we will talk about that monthly pizza special, also some NCAA basketball going on over the weekend, and and just a lot of different activities you can do down here at AJ's in the Alley. It's the Coach O Show coming back on Monday, brought to you by Brooks Liquor and also Standard Beverage here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Have a great week, and we'll see you in Topeka for Liberty football at 7 o'clock coming up on Saturday.